Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome once again to Booking a Better Wrestler. My name is Paul Laporte. Thank you so much for joining me. Had some great feedback on the shows that we've done thus far. Last week I did Dean Ambrose, and there's actually 50-50 as far as the likes and dislikes, at least on YouTube. Didn't really get much actual verbal feedback on it, so I'd be interested to see what people thought, what they liked and what they didn't like about that episode. So if you haven't done so, be sure to go back and check that out. Also, we have a new episode of Changing the Questions up today. Actually put it up yesterday, that has to deal with getting into professional wrestling. I actually had a couple friends of mine who are independent wrestlers give a good talk on that. There's a lot of good information, and it was a fun show. So if you're interested at all in what it takes to become a professional wrestler, be sure to check that out. Or even if you're not, check it out. It's an entertaining show. Speaking of entertaining, I do have a new actual video series. We'll call it a very, very, very mini series of 1 minute or less clips that I'm going to try and put up on a daily basis called Quick Questions. That's going to deal with just a small topic that's kind of floating around the internet that maybe I don't want to dedicate a whole episode of Changing the Questions to, but still something that I kind of want to talk about. So be sure to check out all those things. Again, if you haven't done so, I'll tell you right in the beginning, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm putting out a lot of content, so if you want to subscribe to the YouTube page or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, you're going to get all that content, and you're going to have it delivered right to you, as opposed to having to remember when it comes out each and every time. Okay, let's go ahead and get on to this week's subject, and the wrestler we are going to be looking at for this episode is going to be Samoa Joe. I actually had this requested by a friend of mine to book Samoa Joe's transition to the main WWE roster. He also put the caveat of not including Roman Reigns or the Usos in Samoa Joe's call-up, which I think is a little reference to the fact that they always seem to book every Samoan heritage wrestler together, and he wanted me to avoid doing that, which actually isn't difficult because Samoa Joe is the only Samoan wrestler, really, who isn't related to that Anoa'i family tree that every other professional wrestler is connected to. So, no problem. Okay, so I certainly think that Samoa Joe is ready to come up to the main roster, so this one's going to be kind of a layup for me, and this episode might be a little bit quicker than some of the other ones, because I just don't think that this is going to require a ton of setup, because people kind of know who Samoa Joe is at this point. They respect him, and they would accept him on the main roster without question. This is the perfect time to debut Samoa Joe. With the Royal Rumble coming up in a couple weeks, I think that is the perfect time for Joe to make his first on-roster appearance. He's a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. He enters fairly early, maybe the first 10 or 12, and he is going to be the guy this year who eliminates a bunch of people. He's going to be what Roman Reigns was 2 years ago when he was still with the Shield. He's going to be the guy who just kicks ass, eliminates a bunch of people, 10 or more, and then he finally gets eliminated close to the end. And this performance impresses the Authority, who invite Samoa Joe to kind of join their ranks. And Samoa Joe mulls it over, and he agrees. He thinks it'd be a good career move for him, because we're going to book Samoa Joe as a heel, because personally I think that that's where his best work comes from. So Samoa Joe agrees to work for the Authority, and the Authority says, great, Roman Reigns has been a big pain in our ass, we want you to get to work on him, and Samoa Joe's like, no, I don't care about Roman Reigns. And then Triple H is a little confused, and he's like, okay, well, Dean Ambrose has been helping him out a lot, and then Samoa Joe cuts him off like, no, I'm not going to fight Dean Ambrose, I don't really care, I have no interest in cleaning up those messes for you. And then Triple H says, well, why would I want you on our side if you're not going to do what I'm going to, if you're not going to do what I tell you to do? And Samoa Joe just looks at him and says, there's someone coming. You know that there's someone coming. I know this person better than anyone in the world. And when he gets here, you're going to want me on your side. And then he just walks away. And that's all we really hear about it for a couple weeks. Joe continues to just wrestle matches on Raw and SmackDown. He's dominant, he's kicking ass, he's doing great. And then finally, a few weeks after this all goes down, probably about 3 weeks later or so, just before Fastlane, AJ Styles shows up with Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson in tow, and they immediately try and shake things up. They show no respect for the authority, and they declare that they are going to take over the company, and it's going to be their show from now on. So then next week, AJ Styles is being interviewed backstage about his big debut, and during his interview, he's interrupted by Samoa Joe, and Joe just kind of stares him down, and he says, "I've been expecting you. You know, I've kicked and scraped and clawed to get to this spot. And all of a sudden, you just walk in and you think you're going to take it from me? No. I don't care how many people you have with you. If it's 2, if it's 5, if it's 100, I'm going to be the top guy here, and I'm going to make sure that you know that." And then this leads up to Triple H booking a match at WrestleMania between AJ and Joe. And these two put on a match that we know they can put on. I've seen these two wrestle many times on the Independents and in TNA. Some of their matches have been some of my very favorite matches of all time. I think both of these guys are still capable of putting on those matches, if not better matches. And this one is going to go the distance. It's going to go to a 30-minute time limit draw. And when the time limit draw happens, these two are still brawling. They're still fighting it out. They need to be broken up by the authority and whatever name you're going to give the Bullet Club stable that AJ has with him. And from here, this is going to continue a long feud between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. These guys have fought numerous other times. They're going to meet numerous other times throughout the year, and they're going to appear to be each other's equal. Joe should be AJ's biggest rival throughout their time in WWE. He should be The Rock to his Stone Cold, or vice versa. These two are always going to be each other's prime opponents when the stakes get high. They're going to fight other people. They may even have tentative alliances at different points, but they're always going to be in each other's way when one of them hits a big achievement. And that is going to be the story that is going to be told throughout the entirety of these two guys' careers in WWE. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up. I know this was a short show, but again, this is Samoa Joe. You don't need to do a ton with him, and I think his work kind of speaks for itself. And I wanted this one to be a little bit shorter because my other ones have been longer. I've kind of booked big arcs for those guys. I wanted to just kind of lay some loose groundwork here for this subject. Be sure to check out the next episode, which is going to be going up on Friday. Not 100% sure who I'm going to be doing that on yet, but I will be making that decision soon. And again, I hope you guys like these. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to give a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to leave a comment in the comments below. If you're listening to this on iTunes, be sure to leave a nice 5-star review, say a nice comment for me. And also, if you are listening to this in some sort of podcast form, I only have probably the last few episodes of each show I run on the podcast. So if you want to get any archives, be sure to check out the YouTube page. Also, if you want to check out the quick question segment, that is a video series, so you can only do that on YouTube. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of Booking a Better Wrestler. Hope you've enjoyed this. Shout-outs. Feedback. If you want to leave feedback, be sure to email us, changingthequestions@gmail.com. You can check us out on Twitter also at Changing the Qs. That's Changing the QS. If you want to find us on YouTube, just search for Changing the Questions. Same thing for Facebook. Be sure to like us there. We put up a lot of different things that we get from around the internet. Okay, got all my plugs out of the way. That's going to wrap it up. Again, folks, thanks for listening. See you soon. Bye.